Hey there. Today I want to talk about basic three-point lighting. This is a great beginning lighting setup for YouTubers or folks just putting together videos for the first time. I want to be clear, it is not the only setup you can do. There's only about a quadrillion ways to set up lighting, but this is a really popular basic setup that just about anyone can put together, and the results are fantastic. So what I'm going to do today is, first, I want to kind of explain what three-point lighting is, how it works, and then I'm going to go downstairs and give you a demonstration of how it actually looks in practice. Okay? So, we've got a room here, bird's eye view looking down on the room. All right? Right here we have a subject. Subject is looking forwards there toward the camera. Here's our camera. Okay, so you have a talking head talking to the subject, just like I am right now. All right, but you need to illuminate your subject. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to set up a key light. This is your most powerful light, and it's set up at about a 45-degree angle to the subject. Now, if you run with just the key light, you're going to have great light on one side of the subject, but then nothing anywhere else. And so we need to fill in the shadows caused by the key light. So we go ahead and set up a fill light. Less powerful than the key light, but enough to give some nice fill on the other side of your subject. This one as well is set at about 45 degrees. You'll want to experiment with that and kind of see what looks best for you. All right? So now we have our subject illuminated. However, if we stop right here, your subject will tend to blend into the background, and we don't want that. So what we want to do is set up here a backlight. The backlight is set up directly behind your subject, up high so it's out of frame, and it gives a really nice halo effect to the subject, separating them from the background. Sometimes the backlight is called the hair light because if your subject has beautiful glowing locks of hair, which I don't, the backlight or hair light really makes that hair glow and sort of gives you an aura effect. Okay? This is your basic three-point lighting system, as simple as can be. But again, it's not the only way to go, right? A lot of YouTubers and videographers skip the fill light. Some of them skip the backlight. It all depends on the look you're going for. So with that in mind, let's go downstairs and I'll actually show you how this works in practice. So here I am in my Nutshell Brainery studio, and this is the lighting that I use for most of my shoots there. But now let's go ahead and examine the lighting. First, I'm going to turn off all the practical lighting so that all we have is the traditional three-point lighting that we're talking about. Okay, so now we have all the practicals turned off. Now, practical lighting, that's all the bokeh, all the kind of cool lighting in the background that basically lights up your set, okay? The three-point lighting is really meant just to illuminate your subject. All right, so what we have now is the three-point lighting. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it all off, and we're going to start turning them on one by one so we can see what's happening. Okay, so believe it or not, I'm sitting in front of the camera right now. But since there's no light illuminating me, you see nothing. Okay, so let's go ahead and turn on the key light. Now the key light is your strongest light. And what you want to do is set it up at about a 45-degree angle to you. Now, this is especially important if you wear glasses. In some cases, you can go ahead and get away with just the key light, depending on what kind of mood you're looking for in your shot. But most of the time, if you're doing just the key light, you set it in front of you just a little bit more, not quite 45 degrees, but a little bit closer to straight up. But then you get a lot of reflection in the glasses. So that's just something to consider. Okay, So this is just the key light. As you see, I'm nicely lit here, but I'm pretty dark here. So now let's go ahead and turn on the fill light. Now, like the key light, the fill light is set at about 45 degrees or so. You can kind of set it up where you like there, considering reflection in glasses and so forth. However, the fill light is not as powerful as the key light. As you see, I'm still lighter on this side of my face. However, I'm now filled in a little bit more here, and so that gives it a little bit more depth and just kind of fills in the face a little bit more. Okay, now let's turn on the backlight. Now, before I do that, let me explain a little bit. You can see me just fine. However, I'm blending into the backlight a little bit. When I turn on the backlight, notice how it kind of creates this sort of halo around me, giving me separation from the background. Now the backlight is set up right behind me, up high, so it's shining down on me a little bit. As a matter of fact, I have to kind of set up the camera carefully to make sure that the backlight is not included in the shot. And you notice that halo I was telling you about? This gives me separation from the background. So now I'm nicely illuminated in the set. Now, of course, the background is all dark, and so we want to go ahead and illuminate that a bit. Now, real quick, do I want to go over this now? Yeah, I'm going to go over this now. So, with the three-point lighting, all you're doing is illuminating the subject. You're not illuminating the background, the set, or anything like that. Well, why not use all the light? Well, you can. I have set up, and you can't quite see it, but I've set up these barn doors and so forth to minimize spill from my key light, my fill light, and my backlight. Spill meaning any light that's kind of flowing out from the light and illuminating things other than the subject. Now, sometimes spill is just fine. That's all right. It just depends on the look you're going for. But in traditional three-point lighting and in the look that I'm shooting for, I want to minimize spill so that I can then use practical lighting to illuminate my background. So let me turn on the practical lighting again and you'll see what I mean. You see, now my background is illuminated because of these lamps and a couple of light bulbs. You don't quite see the light bulbs in frame, but they're just kind of the old world traditional looking orange light bulbs that come on down. This illuminates the background just enough. I don't want the background to be the main thing that the viewer looks at. I want them to look at me. It's all about me. It's all about you. The background is just there to lend ambiance and to kind of establish an aesthetic for the light, okay? Or for the video, I should say. All right, so that's what the three-point lighting looks like in practice and how it works. All right, so there's your basic three-point lighting. Very simple, straightforward, anybody can do it. Now, once you learn the techniques and you can kind of play with things a little bit, then you might want to switch things up, but it's completely up to you. It all depends on the look and feel that you're going for. All right? Thank you for joining me. Have a fantastic day, and we'll see you later.